Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold and my mic is working this time, so that's pretty nice and fun. So today we are going to be doing the best ice damage setup. In my honest opinion, you can technically get more damage than what I've got, but this is the best well-rounded setup that an ice can get right now, from just my experiences and just knowing how stats work. So yeah, Ice, Ice is the school with the absolute lowest damage in the game, with this setup given a max of 215 damage with the mount equipped. This can go higher, but it comes at the cost of Pierce if you do take it higher. I just have 38 Pierce because 38 Pierce is, it's not bad. It's a good Pierce value to have, and you don't really gain as much when you're adding a little bit more damage, especially because everything in the later worlds, everything's just got like resist and all that, so it's just sort of tough to deal with there, like all the bosses and mobs in the later worlds. So yeah, this is going to be just the best in my opinion. Again, you can take this higher, so it is just all up to you as to what you want to do. This is going to be important in a bit, so just stay tuned for that. Definitely give that a listen when I do get to it. So, like I said, 215 damage with the mount equipped, pretty good resist to be honest, and then perfect accuracy even if you're running like a 7, and then 38 pierce. And the pierce can come down and the damage can come up, but to each their own with that. So alright, let us begin with the actual gear pieces themselves. So for the hat, we have the Cruel Dream Reaver hood, and for the boots, we have the Cruel Dream Reaver boots. And these two both drop from Malice in the Nightmare Dungeon, which is a side quest after you finish Wallaru. And these are the best in slot pieces, but not by much. If you are an Ice Wizard and you already have the Eon pieces, I don't even think it's worth bothering, because like you can see here on the boots comparison, and this applies to the hat too, but you don't gain any damage or pierce from Eon to Reaver. You just gain like a little bit of health and some extra points of resist, but that is all that you gain. That is all that you gain between Eon and Reaver with the boots and hat. So yep, just use it at your own risk. Waste 160 dream water at your own risk. But yeah, it's it's very disappointing that we don't gain any damage in this world. But I mean, outside of jewels, but So the Reaver hat and boots are the best. They give 31 and 37 respectively in terms of damage, and they both give 4 pierce, which is pretty solid. So that's pretty neat. And then for the robe, I have the Frigid Robe of the Nullity. You could technically go for the demonic robe from the new Polaris raid, but in my honest opinion, it's not worth your time. I mean, y'all saw what happened with this and this, so I wouldn't really sweat it too much if you already have the Nullity robe. And I do think that the Dragonspire raid is a little easier and less boring. If I say so myself, I've done my share of both, and I can definitely tell you that the Dragonspire raid is a lot less boring than the Polaris raid, so it's real fun. So this is really important. This and the demonic robe are like best in slot. These are the robes that you want to go for, because you get shads from them, and I will go over why shads are important in a little bit when I get to the wand. But just know that these robes are already the best for damage and pierce, but getting those shads is imperative, especially if you're in ice. So raid robes are the way to go. You could use the I guess if you're not really too worried about shads, which you should be as an ice, because let's be real, but if you're not, then you could use the Forbidden Library robe, which gives a little bit less damage, but it does give some more health and resist, so that's more of a defensive option. But this is a hitting build. You're not really here to play defense, even though we are a defensive school as Ice Wizards. So yeah, this drops from the Nullity in the Dragonspire raid, the Voracious Void raid, and the demonic robe that I keep referencing, that drops from the Personal Demon in the Cabal's Revenge raid, which is based on Polaris. So just keep that in mind. Those two are the robes that you want to go for. I just have Nullity because I've always had it, so that's what we're on. But here we go for the wand. I have the Xibalba Comet Sword. And you'll notice that I'm not going to mention the Cruel Dream Reaver Boomerang that also drops from Malice in the Nightmare, because it does not give shad rating. And shad rating is very important for an ice. Like, let me just tell you that right now. Let me say that outright. The way that ice has been done dirty in terms of our hitting cards has not been real fun. Frost Giant, it did get buffed this spring with, you know, the help of everybody in both my community and in Core and Vortex communities, as well as others. It's like everybody really banded together to get the spell buffed, but it still is not 100% as good as it could be. So naturally, and Count Crocula is also kind of lackluster too, so naturally we gravitate towards Snowball Barrage and Freeze Ray, which are our two shad AoEs. And this is your card. Like 95 ice damage per pip, that is very, very strong, and you do need a shad for it, is the main issue with it. So the more shads that you get in building shadow pip rating with, you know, the Shibalba Wand and the Nullity or Demonic Robe, you're probably going to be doing like a lot of all three raids for these two pieces alone. So because, you know, the Dragonspire and Polaris robes are on top, and then this is the Azteca raid wand. So yeah, it's the shads are just way too important for an ice to really give up, in my opinion. That's how it is. So definitely get this. The Reaver Boomerang is good. It just doesn't get those shads. So just something to keep in mind as you are making your setup. This does drop from the hardest content in the game, so I won't blame you if you don't feel like doing the Crying Sky raid, but it's either that or the Nightmare, so pick your poison. I personally picked the Crying Sky raid, so that's where we're at with the wand, and you get, you know, 8 pierce from this, which is kind of insane, and then you get as well as 27 damage, plus the shads and the accuracy. Everything's good about this wand. Like, I don't need to say more. Shibalba Wand is just clearly on top, and because ice is ice, it's not real, I guess, ambiguous whether or not you want to have the Reaver Wand or the Shibalba Wand. Like, the Shibalba Wand is just better for ice, so keep that in mind. For the Athame, easily the Cruel Dream Reaver Knife. This drops from the Invader Fleets in the Doom Moon in Novus, which comes at the end of the Wallaru questline. I know, that's kind of crazy to think about. And then the wand actually drops from Hun Hao in the Crown Sky raid. I should mention that before I go on. So, but yeah, this Athame, it is definitely the best. You don't need more than one triangle socket, which you get from your amulet. And this gives an extra square socket, so, you know, I'm pushing 14,000 health. Like, that is a lot. And it gives 20 damage, which is the first time an Ice Athame has ever gotten, you know, to give 20 damage. So you just love to see that. And all that extra health is just so good. So definitely this is the piece to go for in terms of Athames. For the amulets, I flashed out with this a moment ago, but I personally like to use the Cruel Dream Reaver amulet. This drops from Crash the Bandit Coot out in the Wabagong territory. You can pick up the side quest line from Lady Cortexia and Billabong Resort to go farm him, and this is just definitely what you want in terms of amulets. I do have the Hun Hao amulet. It does give some extra pip conversion and some extra resist, but I like the Reaver amulet because it gives this 45 blade, and the 45 blade is very important, or it's very good rather. I don't know if I'd call it too important in today's day and age because it's 5% damage, but it is 5% better than Frenzy, so just keep that in mind. You know, you can use that 45 blade if you're buffing up one hit, so yeah, would recommend 45 blade, pretty good for the Reaver amulet. And this is where you can really gain a lot on damage. I have this Unearthly Damage Sapphire socketed into the circle socket, right? So there's that, and then you don't really need that much in terms of an accuracy socket from with this build. So I just have a 7 because I've always had it in there. It's kind of nice, so pretty good. And then I do also want to mention that, like I was saying at the beginning, you can go higher on damage. So if you were to replace these two Pierce Jewels with this same Circles Jewel that I have socketed in here, You could go from 215 damage to 224 to 233, which would be 4% off of max damage, but your pierce would go down by 12 at that point, so just, it's really, you pick your poison. And I've gone over why I like using pierce on my setup personally. So you could push to quote-unquote 242, but it will get curved down violently to probably 238 or 9 if you replace this circle socket with a damage socket, and then obviously your pierce goes down to 20. So, you know, use at your own risk. So, but yeah, the Cruel Dream Reaver ring, which, you know, is obviously the very best ring in the game for Ice Wizards right now, that drops from Freddy Croker in the Dreaming, and, you know, like you can see, 17 damage, all that health, all that pip chance, very good. I don't think I need to say more. So yeah, the ring is definitely from Freddy Croker, that's definitely what you want. And then for the pet, you definitely want that quint damage with a selfish talent being either Thinking Cap or Mighty, and I have Thinking Cap, so that will boost your 5 damage talents all by 1 for a total of 5 extra damage. Can't go wrong with that, so definitely would recommend. You could also do like a triple-double pet if you wanted more resist, but you know, like I said, this, despite it being a defensive school, we're not going for defense anymore. We are long past needing that, especially now that we have 14,000 health, so that's pretty cool. And then for the mount, I do have the Balance Sculpture, but this is interchangeable with the Battle Narwhal. Both of them give 2% damage. I just was too lazy to go pull the Narwhal out of my bank, so that's where we're at on that. So, yep, Balance Sculpture or the Battle Narwhal. You can fish up the Battle Narwhal for free at the Polarian Explorers Bundle House. So that it is free technically. It's just going to be a very long fishing grind, but I do have a guide on fishing that I would recommend y'all check out. So that is the best mount that you can get for free, of course. And then for the deck, I have the Cruel Dream Reaver deck. This drops from Mr. Montgomery in the Doom Moon as well in the Engineering Dungeon, and you know, you use this for the circle slot, kind of self-explanatory. It's just good like that, and yeah, I don't really think I need to say more. It's just an extra 9% damage, and, you know, like I was saying before, if you have all 5 circle slots socketed with damage, you can get up to 242 damage, which will curve down to about 238 or 9, so, you know, go ahead and do that if you'd like, but your pierce will take quite a hit, and it'll go down to 20, so just for y'all to remember as you're making your setup. So that is going to be every single piece in an Ice Wizards arsenal. I just, like, I can't stress enough about the shads. Like, the shads are just really, really good. It's like I was on about before, 122 shad rating. You need to get the shad to be able to use Snowball Barrage, which is your main hit. Freeze Ray is also a really good hit, but you get that a little later. So Snowball Barrage is just very, very good, and I did want to mention, if I haven't really looked into the Gold Key Boss Fames, but I could technically sacrifice some health if those Fames also gave 20 damage, and they just switched the square slot for a triangle. So if I wanted to, I could socket Pip Chance here, and then use the Shabalba Boots for even more shad rating, without it coming at the cost of any damage or pierce. So that is a hypothetical. I will have to look into like an extra triangle slot, but I don't want to lose damage by doing it. So just whatever gives me the most damage, because I'm already on a school that doesn't have a lot of that. So that's what's up. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more. Look at the snow, and I will see y'all later.